Welcome back to The Legacy Architect. I'm Joshua T. Berglan, the world's mayor. I usually interview guests, but we're entering a volatile new era, and general advice won't help you optimize performance or create a recession-proof business. I need to give you the specific code to prevail. This is part one of a 10-part masterclass on personal brand architecture. In 2025, the gold watch is a relic. The pension is a myth. The era of employment is over. The era of the sovereign entrepreneur has begun. Most of you are not building businesses. You're building castles in a sandbox owned by a billionaire. You call yourself a CEO, but if Instagram updates its terms of service tomorrow, your revenue could drop to zero. You're effectively a digital sharecropper. Here's the lesson that nobody teaches. The terms of service is your boss. When you click I agree, you're signing a contract that says they own distribution, they own the data, and often they own a license to your content. You're trading your life's work for reach. That's a bad trade. Reach is vanity. Revenue is sanity. But ownership is sovereignty. This broadcast is powered by Omni Media Architecture, the proprietary framework of the world's mayor brand. It's how I operate as an advocacy actuary, calculating reputational risk and architecting revenue. We build uncancellable legacies using the same infrastructure I used to secure over 126 IMDb credits, 8 international awards, multiple AI certifications, and even became a 4-time best-selling author. Explore the framework on my website. True sovereignty requires the kill switch protocol. This is a military-grade contingency plan for your brand. Step 1, the Friday report. Every Friday, export your follower data, CSV files, emails, and phone numbers to a hard drive. Not the cloud, a physical hard drive. Step 2, a life raft. You need a dark site. A simple website or Substack that exists but isn't promoted, ready to be activated in 15 minutes. Step 3, the migration drill. Once a quarter, tell your audience, if I disappear from this platform, here's where we meet. Train them like a fire drill. If you can't burn down your LinkedIn profile today and be back in business tomorrow morning, you're fragile. Sovereignty is the ability to disappear and reappear seamlessly. Before you go, sit with this wisdom. Albert Camus said, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Freedom isn't money. Freedom is optionality. If you have $10 million, but can be deplatformed by one policy change, you're poor. If you have $100, but you own your connection to the market, you're free. If the internet turned off tomorrow, do you have a physical list of phone numbers to call to feed your family? Go to joshuatberglan.com. Try out the search bar and type in sovereignty, SOVEREIGNTY. I have a checklist for the kill switch protocol waiting for you. Security isn't found in a paycheck. It's found in ownership. On the next episode, we learn why your trauma is actually your most expensive asset. I'm Joshua T. Berglan. Go build your legacy. All right. So those of you who hung out and watched or listened to this, thank you for being here. I'm going to do something a little bit different with this podcast. And breaking the third wall, that part was scripted. I read from a teleprompter. And I do that so I don't tremor as much. Those of you who know me, know my journey, know I've been dealing with these frequency-induced tremors where I'm sensitive to every frequency you can imagine, even my own voice. It's kind of crazy. But I have not been doing as much broadcasting as I normally do for lots of reasons. I don't like my head shaking on camera, but nonetheless, I also know that this is a very pivotal time. About 3 months ago, I was at the UN and I got to speak there. I've been able to speak there a few different times, and it's one of the cooler blessings. It was a major, major goal of mine many years ago, and to finally accomplish it was great. But one of the things that stuck out to me, and talked about this quite a bit, so forgive me if you've heard it before. But one of the things that I heard throughout every single meeting I've been in at the UN at that last meeting was that 80% of the world is not ready for what's coming. 80%. And I can tell you from firsthand knowledge, because this is my line of work to know, that America is not ready. And even though I have a global audience, I'm going to, I want to speak to Americans first. You know, we are a distracted nation. We have psyop after psyop after psyop that comes through our media devices, through our television screens, which is a media device. Like every form of media devices we have, we are getting fed information that we really have no idea if it's true or not. And that's one of the reasons why I've been so passionate about media literacy. But media literacy, for those that actually know the term, well, that really is, most people that do understand the term, they know it as being able to decipher between real and fake news, like really knowing how to dive in, do the research, knowing how to fact check, knowing how to do the things that are necessary to really get to the original source of a story. That's media literacy. There's another definition of media literacy that I'm actually very passionate about, and that's a lot of what's going to go into the content of this Legacy Architect podcast that I do solo. Of course, I'll be doing interviews too, but on the solo side of it, I'm going to try to provide as much value as possible to get people ready. Look, it's kind of late for a lot of people to get started as far as being able to be ready for the new economy. It is. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't get started now. Are you somebody out there that has been looking for a job to no avail? Are you somebody that has just given up looking for a job? There's a lot of people out there, right? Well, for those that are still seeking and getting frustrated or feeling like they need to go back to school and maybe get another degree, save your money. Save your money. We are absolutely, so this is the information age. Some people call it the fourth industrial revolution. Well, they got a rebrand. It's the information age now. And part of what the information age is, because there's so much information out there, ultimately what that means for us is that a part of our job, regardless of what it is to educate, to learn, to continuously learn. The world's changing fast, really fast. But I will tell you this, without going into so many different details, and believe me, there's a lot of different paths to take this. I want to simplify it for you. The most important thing any of you can do right now is learn how to use every possible media tool. Whether it's video, actually, not whether or, not or, and any video, audio, print, learn every form. Publishing a book is no different than publishing a YouTube video. It's basically the same thing. Yes, there's some minor adjustments and minor changes, but it's really the same process. You got cover art, you got to size correctly, you got to look for keywords, got to come up with a description, got to make a cover for the book, cover art for the podcast, cover art, same thing. It's all the same thing, just different sizes. Heck, making t-shirts or apparel. Bully Buddy, this mug, same process as a YouTube video. It's so simple, but yet we've overcomplicated things. I don't know what I mean, I could look at why, America is not ready. It's really easy because we're distracted. We're very distracted. Our media has been weaponized against us and, well, most of the world. So of course we're distracted. We watch the news, even knowing that the news lies to us, we still watch. Why? I don't understand why. But what I learned many, many years ago, when I was first learning about Agenda 21, the United Nations Agenda 21, and no, that's not a conspiracy theorist or conspiracy theory. No, Agenda 21 was a very real thing. But when I first learned about it, I learned about it as a conspiracy theorist. So of course I'm like, terrified. But I didn't really know how much faith I should put into these theories that I was hearing. So I just said, if I see these events unfold, well, I know who to pay attention to. Not local news, not even the national news. No, I'm going to listen to what the world leaders say. Because what I've learned in my experience over 20 years of doing the work that I do, or exploring my passion, what has led to the work I do, I haven't been doing the same job for 20 years, a little over 10 now for me. But before then, I was already studying and learning what these global agendas were all about. So when Agenda 2030 was released, I knew to pay attention to it. And I did. I read it, studied it. I listened to every event virtually that the world leaders did. Event 201, very interesting event, because that event prepared me for really what the last 5 years has been. I won't go into detail there because I would like to not get kicked off the internet again. Anyway, but I paid attention. But one thing that's changed with my understanding and education of these agendas that are taking place is that it's not all bad. It's not all good. It's honestly what we make it. There's big changes coming to the world, and only those that are resistant to the change are going to struggle. But what I will tell you is we have a really unique opportunity that has never taken place in history before. And that is to truly live a life that we love. Because if we have media literacy, if we understand how to use all of the media tools available, then we can create endless revenue streams simply using our God-given gifts, talents, and intellectual property / our stories. The creator's economy is the storytelling economy in the information age. So where robotics and technology, AI is threatening jobs, is taking a lot of jobs, we'll take more. More and more robots are going to be doing jobs that we used to do. The only thing really left is for us to go back to the beginning, going back to our original design. Do you remember being young? Do you remember being a kid pretending to be a rapper or a singer or an artist or a talk show host? A QVC host. That's what I dreamed of. So, but at what point in your life did somebody tell you to stop dreaming, to quit imagining, to quit imagining, to quit living in fantasy land? How many times have you heard about the starving artist? Like, oh, you can't be an artist. They go broke. They don't make any money. They can't provide for anybody. What if no one likes their art? So people give up. But I believe, I could be wrong, but I doubt it, that the creator created us to create and multiply too. But the creator created us to create. And I find that interesting because when it looks like all hell's breaking loose, the world's coming to an end, the economy's bad, there's going to be a new financial system, we can't find jobs, it's so dystopian. Like, in the face of all this chaos that we see flooding through our news screens, no one ever talks about the real opportunity available. So while we may lose these jobs that most of us never really wanted to begin with, we are being given an opportunity to get closer to God in our original design and doing what we were created to do by creating. And the other thing that we have the opportunity to do with this creating is to do something that we want to do. We have an opportunity to take control of our own lives, get to co-create with the creator. When we tap into our creative gifts, we tap into our imaginations, we tap into our passions, and we use the media tools available, the media vehicles. There's omnimedia, omnimedia is all forms of media, but the metaverse, there's podcasts, documentaries, courses, books, newsletters. There's so webinars, documentaries, short films, full-length movies. Like, all of this really is in the power of our hands now. All of us can do it. And the cool part is we don't even need money to get started. We don't need money for a lot of it. I know. I've written books on it. So anyway, without going too deep into this ramble, but I appreciate y'all watching the podcast. And the next ones that we do, they're all going to build off each other. We're going to add a little bit more value each time. And at the very beginning of these podcasts, I'm going to read from a teleprompter. Just want to do that because I want to make sure I get all the information out. Don't want to read from like notes down here. I'm going to read this to you. And then if I feel led to share from the heart, I'm going to share from the heart. So it's going to be a mix of both. You get a little bit of me more formally and a little bit of me just talking from my heart and wherever it goes. And that can be very unpredictable, especially if you've watched, and you know this, if you've watched any of my other content. When I talk from the heart, well, I'm going to talk from the heart. So whatever my heart's feeling, that's what's going to come out of me. So that's how I am. And I love it. So I'm probably breaking every podcast rule ever by creating it this way. But that's what I want to do. And the cool part about the creator's economy is that we get to create how we feel led to create. Doesn't mean everyone's going to like it. Doesn't mean everyone's going to love it. Doesn't mean everyone's going to hate it. Could be a mix of both. Could be talking to no one. You never know. But this is what I felt like doing. And you know what? Feels pretty good to create how I'm feeling led to create. And that's empowering. It's awesome. It's freeing. So anyway, I have tons of free resources on my website at joshuatberglan.com or go to theworldsmayor.com. Same website, same platform. Check that out. There's tons of free resources. In fact, if you just use the search engine called the Mayor's Archive, it's at the very top of the page, and there's a separate page too. But at the very top of the homepage, type in anything you're looking for. If you want content on addiction, content on mental illness, content on the Agenda 2030, Agenda 21, media literacy, name something. I think I have some sports and relationship. I know I have some relationship stuff there too. But literally, you can search any word you want, and you're going to find the content for it. I have tons of free resources on my website to take advantage of. The best way to find those is the search feature. And just pay attention to the tabs. Look, I've been very, very fortunate to get to pursue this path. And when I started many, many years ago, it was one of the scariest things I've ever did because it made no sense at the time other than the fact that I had a vision for it. And I will tell you that why I'm so passionate about media literacy, and the opportunity that media literacy provides is that it's a cycle breaker. It's helped me heal. It's helped me use my own story to pull myself out of a lot of bad situations, poverty. It's helped me heal, getting to create and share openly. I mean, in my journey of sharing content, even what's in my books or even my past podcast, and I've done several different kinds because I've evolved over the years. But having that creative outlet is what helped me heal. I mean, look, I don't sit here my diagnoses are public. I am disabled by the government due to mental health reasons, but I've fortunately have been blessed to heal. Even though I have these tremors that happen, I'm healing from that too. God is working in my life. And I believe so much of that healing has come from expressing myself through media, sharing truth, sharing my story, discussing hard issues about my own life. Because look, I have huge aspirations, but a lot of the secrets I had in the past, they were not only killing me, but they were hurting a lot of other people too. And that affected how I've shown up in the world. It affected me for years. But by being able to share and create through that expression, created a lot of healing, created a lot of getting comfortable with the truth, learning my identity, and having multiple personality disorder or DID, being diagnosed with that and having it, not just diagnosed. I've been diagnosed as schizophrenic too, but I'm not schizophrenic. Um, yeah, I say that my head shakes. Anyway, the creator's economy has been the greatest blessing, one of the greatest blessings of my life. It's helped me heal. It's helped me grow. It's helped me step into my purpose. It's opened doors for me that would have not opened otherwise. I've been able to have friends for the first time in my life and relationships that are healthy. And I really am grateful because creating, expressing myself in the pain and the sadness and the confusion and the joy and the hurt, learning to use art and creation as a vehicle for healing, it's such a gift. But I don't think that's exclusive to me. I think it's for all of us. So anyway, I'm done rambling. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful, beautiful day, evening, morning, whenever you're listening. But thank you for being a part of The Legacy Architect. My name is Joshua T. Berglan, also known as the world's mayor, and thank you for being here.